Hey girl, hey, what's up with it? What y'all been up to? Hey best friend, how you doing with your fine ass? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Ask Nikki. I'm gonna keep this short and simple. If you know me, what's up girl, welcome back. And if you don't, what's up? My name is Nikki and I think you'd really find my channel fun. So make sure you subscribe. Today we are going to be diving into Ask Nikki's where I give you guys my mediocre advice. I have gotten so many DMs and a lot of you guys just need my help and start giving you some A's to your Q's, okay? What's going on? What's the new tea? I'm gonna grab my handy dandy trusty little best friend right here, okay? And I'm gonna be reading directly off of my DMs from my Instagram. Speaking of, if you guys aren't following me on my socials, please make sure you do so, especially if you wanna participate in Ask Nikki's. I accept Ask Nikki submissions on my Instagram stories, so make sure that you guys are following me over there. I will leave all my socials here for you guys. Give your girl a quick follow for some more Nikki in your life and to participate in some of these, you know, Ask Nikki's, polls, giveaways, all of that good stuff you can find over on my socials. So make sure you guys do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. These Ask Nikki's were sent to me just a few days ago. I've been trying to have a faster turnaround. So if you have recently sent me your Ask Nikki, girl, buckle in because I am answering so many of them today and it just might be you. Before we get into this, I want to give one of my Glamazons a shout out. If you would like to be my Glamazon shot of the day, make sure that you're following me on Twitter or Instagram. I toggle between the two. Send me your cutest selfie, hashtag Glamazon shot, and of course tag your girl so that I know you one of my home skillet biscuits. And I pick on the day of filming, so it's super random and it could be you, girlfriend. Oh, honey bunch, are you? Oh, my love. Everybody say what's up to our girl. Her name is Sarah Friedman. You can find her on Twitter at SRFHope2413. And she said, I've been following you since 2016. I was living on my own for the first time when I found out my dad passed. Those months after were tough. Your videos helped me through it and obstacles I've had to face since. Thank you for being there for me. Sarah, don't make me cry. You are so stunningly gorgeous and you're so sweet. And I just honestly, y'all, I've been getting a lot of DMs from you guys letting me know that my videos help you when you're at your lowest. And like, that is literally my passion. So thank you guys so much for allowing me to have that place in your life and allowing me to pick you up when you're down, girl, because I'm always here. Sarah, I love you. Thank you so much for all of your love and support for me always and forever, girl. You one of my home skillet biscuits, my ride or dies, okay? But I love you guys so much. You guys know that I would not be here without you and I could not do this without each and every one of your beautiful asses. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into these questions that y'all have and what y'all are going through. I'm unmotivated and I have been trying to do better. What do you suggest I do? Try to do better a little bit every single day. Don't try to change everything all at once. It's going to be too overwhelming and you'll quit. So like make small changes here and there, whether that be drinking more water, working out more, you know, like sleeping or eating, you know, on a more consistent basis. Whatever your goals are, just kind of implement smaller changes on an everyday basis rather than like, okay, on Monday, I'm just going to be this whole brand new bitch. Like I can appreciate the motivation, but it is really like, it's just for that moment if you don't change too much all at once. I think as humans, we just kind of like freak out when things change all at once and then we don't stick to it because it's just too overwhelming. So make small changes, better changes every single day. And then once you start seeing the results of those little baby changes, it's going to motivate you to do even more. So that's my advice for you, girlfriend. I feel like I will genuinely never find someone who understands me and will put up with my crazy mom. For those of you guys that have been with me for a minute, y'all know that Mama Glamour, that is my mother. She has dubbed herself Mama Glamour, okay? My mother is crazy. She is certified crazy. She's coming from a great place. She is just very intense and very passionate, okay? So don't worry about it. Whoever is meant for you is going to accept all of you, and all of you includes your family. And I don't know what you mean by crazy mom, but a lot of times crazy moms are coming from a place of love, and my mom just like loves hella hoard, and so she like is kind of like a hover mom, and she came off as crazy always, but she's always, honestly, she's the one person that has the best interest of mine in mind. So I also know that my mom would go to jail for me at any point in time. So, you know, give your moms a little break, but you will definitely find your person. This concept when you're younger and you kind of, you know, it happens at any point in time, but a lot of times it'll happen like at 18, 19, 20, even when you hit your 20s and you still haven't found your person. It feels like, oh my God, I'm never gonna find a person for me. Like, it's never gonna happen. Like, but it will. It definitely will. Fate just has a weird way of working itself out, and just hold on tight, girl, because the ride is coming. Don't even worry about it. How do you stay motivated? What drives you most to succeed? I think you guys are having a little bit of an issue staying motivated, and I feel you. You know, it's April, kind of middle of the year-ish, all right? We start falling off. But what keeps me motivated, honestly, as cliche as it sounds, is my kids, because I look down at their little faces and I'm just like, you know, I just have to leave you something. I have to leave you a legacy. I have to build something for you. And also, I just want to be an inspiration to my own kids and be like, you know, when you work hard, this is what happens. My little babies, man. And it really started with Julian. I think that's why I give Julian a lot of the credit for creating me to be the mom that I am before I even had Ezra and Mila, because he was the person, he was the kid that I was working really hard for when I was really young. And I just saw his little face and it just inspired me to, you know, take that extra shift at the strip club, or, you know, work 2 jobs and make some extra money to just take him to Waterworld, or take him to, you know, go bowling or to the movies, you know, just regular things like that. David and I couldn't do unless we worked extra hard to have that extra additional income. And it really was a motivator for me from jump, was Julian, and then it passed on to Ezra and Mila. It's always been my kids. I was just wondering if you had any advice for how to get over a breakup. Time, and allowing yourself to feel your feelings, and a lot of like what you enjoy, whether it's like thrillers, slasher movies. Don't watch any romantic sappy movies, obviously, but all I can say is time. Again, that seems like a really cliche answer, but I was very, very upset and very hurt when things didn't work out between my ex and I. And it wasn't really about him. It was just like the feeling of being rejected, the feeling of being betrayed, the feeling of being lied to, like all of these terrible feelings. And I just had a hard time getting over it for a while. But the only thing that helped me was time. Also, you guys don't know this, but one of my tattoos is definitely like, it's not a revenge tattoo. It was just like a I'm moving on tattoo. Like, this is for me kind of tattoo. And it really helped. I went out with my mom and I got the tattoo on my foot. I was 19. I had just turned 19 and I had just left Robert's funky ass, and I just needed something different. And this is where, you know, girls start cutting their hair, dyeing their hair, doing something different. And some people might make fun of you for that, but I think that it's actually really helpful to like kind of introduce some change into your life. So I'm not telling you to go get a tattoo unless you want to, but that's kind of what helped me, is just like changing up things about myself and allowing myself to experience new things without him. That way my life became my own, my experiences, my memories became my own, and it wasn't always, oh, I did this with him, or oh, you know, this reminds me of him. Because honestly, I feel like that's the worst part of a breakup. It's not even about the person, especially if the person really, really hurt you. It's not about them. It's just like you're used to them, you know? So I would say for me, it was time, trying new experiences and forcing myself to get out there and go out with my friends, and not allowing my life to stop so that I could focus on other things. Because if I stayed home, I was just gonna focus on how much I missed him and how hurt I was and all of that bad shit. But time over everything, girl. Time. Be very patient with yourself and use this time to work on yourself. Do shit that makes you happy. Like, do shit that makes you genuinely happy. Hey queen, hey girlfriend. Okay, so my Ask Nikki is, how do I get rid of toxic people in my life who are being assholes? Cut them. Cut them. If there is anything that I can pass on to you guys right now in this very moment, is don't put up with people's shit, okay? I am finally getting to a place in my life. I am like grown, 2 kids, mom, married, and it took me this long to really accept and be confident in my role and who I am as a person. I'm a good person. I'm a generous person. I'm a loving person. I have a lot to give. And I have always tried my best to be as respectful to others as I expect them to be, toward me. And I guess here's my thing. I start out every relationship in my life with respect, very much so on my end. And I've always been taught that you have to give it in order to get it. Some point in time, the roles and the table is going to reverse, and they're going to need to respect you. And if they don't give you that respect after all this time that you have been respectful and kind and polite, and they cannot extend that to you when you need it most, cut them, okay? Like, seriously, y'all, I'm telling you, I was the biggest people pleaser. I was such a yes man, yes woman. Okay, I just said yes because I just didn't want anybody to be hurt with me or upset with me, even if it was to my own detriment, even if it affected me negatively, even if I was spreading myself too thin. I would always say yes, and then those same people did not come through for me when I needed them. You see what I'm saying? So once you peep it, cut it. My mom's favorite saying to tell me and my brother when we were kids is, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Period. Like, they are not going to lie to you. I've been preaching this, y'all, since like my shitty apartment. I don't know if y'all remember this, but when someone shows you who they are, believe them. If they make you feel anything else besides supported and loved and accepted, they need to go. Like 2021, it's just time. And it doesn't matter if it's family, it doesn't matter if it's a best friend, it doesn't matter. Like, these people have those titles, but like, do they actually deserve that role? You have to ask yourself that. And don't put yourself last, and don't be a people pleaser. It really does not get you anywhere. I'm telling you from experience, girl. How do you forgive and heal? This is a very heavy question. I think that it's a different journey for every person. Forgiving is one of the biggest and hardest things to learn in your life, to actually forgive. Now, what I have learned is that just because I'm forgiving someone or something doesn't mean that I forget about the experience. So that kind of made it easier for me, because when I was younger, I was like, well, if I forgive them, like, that means that I have to move on and act like nothing happened. Like, no, sweetheart, that's not how it works. Forgiving and forgetting have nothing to do with each other. But forgive for your sake, not for their sake. Forgive for you because it's going to clear up your conscience. It is going to allow you to move forward in a more healthy way, where you don't have this baggage and this trauma and these bad experiences from whoever or whatever happened. So that's the big thing with forgiving. It is to alleviate the pressure from your heart and your spirit. Forgiveness is more so for the person that was harmed or hurt in this situation than it is for the aggressor or the person that was hurting you. Does that make sense? So forgive for yourself. Healing comes with time, of course, but I think that healing just comes with understanding oneself, like really sitting down. Why am I the way that I am? What can I do to better myself? Really looking into therapy if you feel like you need it, and not being ashamed of it. Like, a big part of healing is just allowing yourself to be damaged and hurt, really embracing that and saying, okay, that's all right. Like, I have these nicks and these scars, but that's what makes me me and what makes me understand other people. It makes you, be a lot more compassionate and empathetic towards others. Forgiveness and healing is something that some people, it's a lifetime of learning, and I'm definitely not an expert on it. But what I have learned is that, number one, forgiveness is for yourself, not for the other person. And healing is something that you'll learn along the way of how you heal. I feel like healing and the way that people heal is the same concept as the way that people love. It's like a love language. People have different love languages. People heal differently. It just depends. So find the way that your spirit heals itself, and then just continue to do that. Advice on how to deal with a toxic mother-in-law. Okay, so this is one area that I don't really have a whole lot of experience in, because my mother-in-law, did pass away when my husband was 13. I did not ever have the pleasure of meeting her. So I didn't really have that type of experience because David's mom isn't here, but I have heard some horror stories. And I guess the only thing that I can tell you is to stick very strong that you and your husband need to be one and need to be on the same page and be a team no matter what, especially if you guys have kids, because there are going to be decisions that you make for your kids that not everybody is going to approve of, especially the mother-in-law. But that is his mother, and I feel like it is his responsibility to reel in his mom and demand that respect from his mother towards his wife, and vice versa. If that can't happen, y'all already know. Like, because if it's toxicity is what it is. Let's not sugarcoat it, okay? Just because that's the grandma doesn't mean shit. If she is going to be a detriment to your children, or show them terrible behaviors, show them terrible ways to respond to certain situations, if they're messy, dramatic, if they just start things out of nowhere, like they're just not a good influence around your kids, take that shit serious and cut it. I'm sorry. When it comes to kids, all it takes is one time of your child witnessing something or hearing something hurtful, and it sticks with them forever. I know from experience, don't fucks with it. Now, if this is just between you and your mother-in-law, girl, that's where your husband has to stand his ground and say, hey, mom, this is my wife, or this is my girl, or this is somebody who's very important to me, and like, I'm demanding your respect, okay? So like, I just feel like that's his role and his place, and you need to pass the reins on to him and say, hey, this is your mama, you need to deal with it, because I'm not gonna put up with it, kind of thing. So that's how I would deal with it, girl, if I were you. My older sister doesn't respect my privacy and goes through my phone, and I'm 18. Oh shit. You know what? Like, I feel like I would want to talk to your older sister and be like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing that? I feel like she might have the best of intentions. Like, who are you talking to? Like, you could be, talking to somebody who could hurt you, or like, you're only 18. Maybe she feels like you're not as like street smart, or like you're not going to notice somebody who's trying to play you or play you for a fool or take advantage of you. But at the core of it, I think that your sister has good intentions. She's going about it the wrong way though. Like, it is not okay. That was such a big fucking pet peeve of mine. I hated my privacy being invaded like that. Even before I was 18, once I hit 15, 16 years old, I was like, okay, like I need to have like my own privacy. And I hated it when that wasn't respected. So I get where you're coming from. I would have a conversation. I think that with siblings, I know that it was this way with my brother. It's almost like a rite of passage where you have to have like a real ass conversation with them and show them like you got balls, pretty much. You have the confidence to talk to them and be like, hey, what is it that you're looking for? Like, what is it that you're concerned about? Is there like a lesson that you're trying to teach me out of this? Are you concerned about something, in particular? Let me talk to you about it so that you know that like I got it handled. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm not, a stupid teenager. I hated when people treated me that way when I was a teenager, because I was the furthest thing from stupid. Like, I knew exactly what life was about. Like, I had already been through so much and experienced so much, and I feel like sometimes adults don't give teenagers enough credit when it comes to shit like that. So I would catch her ass off guard and be like, all right, we're gonna have a woman conversation. Woman, 18 to woman, okay? What is it that you're looking for, and what can I settle your heart about? Because you're obviously worried, and like, this is my privacy, and I just want my privacy now. So I would have that convo, see how it goes. How do you try to get over a friendship that you've had for years? Oh man, this is very much like, getting over a relationship. I feel like friendships are just as emotionally deep. When my friendship with Alicia ended, per her request, you guys all know the story. Sometimes that happens, and she was, at that point in time in my life, she was the longest and most consistent friendship that I had ever had. And I was so unbelievably hurt and just so disappointed and just hurt. Like, I just really, you would have thought that I was going through a breakup when we stopped being friends. And it's the same concept, time, keeping yourself busy. And also, in a way, it's weird because I loved her enough to move on because that's what she asked me to do. And I just didn't want to continue to have this battle and be fighting with my best friend. So, you know, if that's what she felt like she needed and wanted, I had to, you know, respect that. And it did take a lot for me to move on and not be so hurt. But all it is time and trying to meet other people. And then I met my now best friend, who has been my best friend for, you know, over a decade now. So I'm good. Everything worked out. How do you help your mom with grief? My grandma and Theo just passed away. Girl, I am so sorry to hear about your loss. I send my condolences to you and your family, my love, and any of you guys that have experienced loss as of recently. When it comes to helping people with grief, there's really no way to do this properly. It really is, you know, what they need from you in that moment. Some people deal with grief by just completely burrowing themselves, and they don't want to talk to anybody, and they don't want to face anything. And then other people just want to be around family all the time, and they just need constant, you know, interaction to not be so sad. So figure out what it is that your mom needs. And if she's not able to tell you, just take a look at what she's doing, and maybe, you know your mom. And a big thing is like knowing someone's love language and how they receive love and what they accept as love, and just do more of that. Like if it's acts of service, showing that you care and just being supportive, but always give them the option of, are you ready to talk about it? You don't have to talk about it. Also look up the stages of grief, because that helps too. You know, it kind of gives you insight on where they are in that journey, because everybody goes through it differently. Some are more intense than others. So just keep your eye on that. But mostly all you can do, love, is just be a shoulder to cry on and a support system whenever they need it. But try not to smother or, you know, be overly emotional with them if they're not reacting that way, because I had to learn that. I'm very much, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm very much like a hugger. I'm such a hugger, and I will smother your ass. If I feel like you're hurting, or you just need some love, or like you feel like shit or something, my first inclination is to like just smother you with love and just like, oh my God, you're amazing. You don't need, like, you're great, and you're gonna be okay, and like, let's talk about it. And I had to realize over time, girl, not everybody, you know, responds to shit like you do, and you have to respect their process. Respect your mom's process, and just be there if you ever see that she needs anything. That's the only advice that I can give you, love. But I am praying for you and your family, and I'm just so sorry for your loss. Now we're gonna get into some of the longer Ask Nikki's. So grab your wine and snacks, girl. Hey Nikki, I look up to how you've been able to have a great financial situation living in Colorado. I'm 20 years old and I live in a small town in Kansas. My boyfriend and I have been thinking of moving to Colorado Springs for a better future and happier, more natured environment. Our families are here and it makes me sad to leave, but I do have to go down my own path. I was needing some advice. I'm very worried about not being able to find a job out there. I graduated in 2019. I'm bilingual, and I attended a 1.5-year semester of college for prerequisites for nursing program in Kansas. I'm now working in the medical field as a CNA in a clinic. I do like the clinic setting and have been looking on Indeed for jobs. It worries me seeing the pay rates, and I have not been able to go back to school for financial reasons. I just wanted reassurance I'd be able to make it out there. I'm not too sure who to ask. I know no one out there. Please DM me back when you can. I would greatly appreciate it. Hey girl, I got you. Okay, so if any of you guys are wondering about moving to Colorado, it's funny because like I'm gonna be moving out of Colorado here very soon, but I love Colorado. There's so many opportunities here. The job market is actually pretty great here, especially if you are a CNA. I think that you're gonna be fine with finding a job. Now let's talk about where you're trying to go. So you're looking in Colorado Springs, and I understand why. That like the cost of living is cheaper in Colorado Springs as far as like rent and things like that. You will find less job opportunities there because it is a smaller area. Now I don't know how you feel about Denver. I know that Denver is definitely a lot more expensive as far as like the housing market and, you know, the cost of living, but right near Denver there's a huge, I think it's even bigger than the city of Denver, but it's right next to it. It's called Aurora. Okay, now if I were to advise you, I would say look in Aurora. Now there are certain parts to look in, okay? There are some really good places over there, and the market is cheap for apartments, for single family homes, so that would be easy for you to move your family into one of those homes at a not so expensive rate, because they're so cheap. And it's like 15, I mean, depending on where you live in Aurora, you could be 10-15 minutes from Denver or 20 to 30 minutes from Denver. It just depends because it's so big. But I would totally recommend that you look there for housing, so that way you have the Denver market for your job, which will pay you more, and you have a lot more opportunities to choose from. I think that's it, bitch, because everywhere else is getting hella expensive. So it's either that or you live in the boonies. So let me know if you guys have any more questions about moving to Colorado. I will do my best to answer them, but honestly, I think that you are going to be fine with the education that you have, and just check it out, because I think that's why you're seeing those little results in Colorado Springs, because it's like, you know, a lot smaller. It's kind of, you know, a little quiet over there. It's kind of like nothing to do. So that's what I would advise, girl. But I think that you're making a great move, and good for you for, you know, paving your own path when it comes to your family, because it's really easy to just stay underneath the umbrella that your family has for you. Sometimes you have to grow outside of that. So good for you, girl. I'm really proud of you. Hey, Nikki, I hope you're doing well. I was wondering if you could give me some advice. So I have a 10-month-old daughter, and I'm 5 months pregnant with another girl. We have to move before the new baby gets here. I'm the only one working, and my boyfriend stays home with the baby. My question is, how do you do it with 2 babies under 2? Do you have them on the same schedule? I'm just kind of nervous. What if we don't find a place? Anyways, I love you and thanks for listening. Girl, I understand completely. Ezra was 6 months old when I got pregnant with Mila, so I was very much in your same position. Right now, David and I both work from home, so that's, you know, the great thing. And it can be really hard because we have our kids with us all the time. We don't have a daycare or a caretaker or a babysitter or anything like that. It's us all the way, and we do have them on a schedule. So the way that we work, it just depends on what we need for that week. David has his own online work. He works from home as well. He does, you know, his podcasting and his, you know, social media stuff, and then I do my own thing as well. So what we found has worked is David does like his work, you know, during the weekend, and then Monday is his big like editing day and like getting everything together. But during the days throughout the week, that's my time to work and like, you know, connect with my Glamazons and, you know, do all of those things and do like the administrative part of my job. Right before dinner time, then, you know, I join them and I take over the kids while David goes and does his thing for like an hour or two. And then we come back together for dinner, and we do dinner and we hang out with the kids, and we, you know, if we can get some little work done here and there on the laptop, we do that. But for the most part, we have that time with the kids together. Because we have 2 babies, we basically choose like, okay, you got Mila, I got Ezra, or vice versa. We both are there for their nighttime routine. So we get the babies ready for bed at the same time in the same room next to each other. And then, you know, they get ready together. They go to sleep at the same time. We try to get them down for naps at the same time. When they go down for naps at the same time, that's some extra time that we have for work or working out. We wake up early to get any additional work done and to work out, to have time for ourselves and also time with each other, because that's super important. But honestly, like, my routine may or may not work for you because, you know, our lives are different. So what I would say is like, you kind of find your groove and like, you know, the way that y'all work together, you and your mans. David and I had to find that sweet spot, but once you find it, it's like smooth sailing, girl. So it's just routine between you and your mans and y'all and y'all's kids. So it's definitely doable, but try to get your babies on the same schedule for sure. I think that by the time Mila was like 8 or 9 months old, she started, adhering to the schedule that Ezra was on. And now they both take one nap a day. They both go to bed at the same time. They wake up at the same time. So that's how we do it. It just makes it easier, girl. So I hope that helps. Hey, girl. So I recently had to cut ties with my dad and my younger sister from his side. My sister is 22 and I'm 25. I didn't grow up with my dad and we always had a rocky relationship. When I was 17, I decided to forgive him for pretty much abandoning me as a child and putting more attention on my sister. At the age of 21, I saw my dad more and we were cordial. We spoke on the phone here and there. I thought, okay, we can move forward and work on our relationship little by little. Well, I was, but he wasn't. Anyways, he recently said some hurtful shit that brought up some old wounds. One of the things he told me that hurt me to the core was the reason he was there for my sister more and not me is because he knew I was in better hands with my mom, but with my sister, he had to save and protect her because her mother was mentally and emotionally abusive. That hurt me so much because it solidified what I felt my whole life, which was that he loved and cared for her more, always came to her rescue, and to him, I'll never be worth saving at all. I recently can't deal with him and his toxic ways anymore. There's more that he has done, but we'd be here for days if I said it all to you. So, my sister has always been toxic with me. It's always been her way or no way, and I was always made to feel inferior to her since we were younger by the adults in our family, always being blamed for her wrongs because I'm older. That mindset trickled into how she started treating me as we got older and I got fed up. To her, I have always been a horrible older sister, her words. We always been compared to each other as well. It made it hard to have my own identity. This year, I realized I've been jealous of her my whole life and I can't stand it. By the way, she hasn't spoken to me in 2 years over something extremely petty, and girl, don't even ask me what it is because I don't even know. She's known for that, getting angry over petty crap. I mean petty in the sense of if it doesn't go her way or you say no to her, she gets upset. So due to that, she hasn't spoken to me and we live in the same building. I see her, she walks right past me. I just got tired of her and her toxicity, so I cut ties with her too. All this to ask, now that I've cut ties, how do I move forward? They were all I had from my dad's side and now I don't. So how do I get used to this new life without them in it? If you were in this situation, how would you start the healing process? Sorry this is so long, but I appreciate you reading this. Love you and your channel. God bless to you and your family. Girl, thank you so much. Okay, so this is actually a really interesting topic. So mixed families and having, a mixture of families when you have a parent that goes off and has another family, just like your situation, I feel like you are the perfect example of why I love Julian the way that I do, okay? And I have gotten so much shit for this in the past, and oh my God, some people are really nice to me about it and are just like, oh, I think it's great that you love him like that. And then other people are like, no, that's going overboard. That's a place just for his mother. And you could confuse him or somehow twisting this into being a bad thing. But this right here, and this feeling that you're going through, love, is the exact result of somebody treating you different than the other children. And that is what I don't like. And that is what I don't condone at all whatsoever in my personal life and in my family, because I know what it's like to have a different dad. I know what it's like to be treated differently because of my dad. I know what it's like to be loved differently, to not be the favored one, I know what it's like. I get you 100%, girl. So I'm actually really proud of you for standing your ground when it comes to your dad, because regardless of whatever his reasoning was, it did not give him the right to just completely pull off of you and say, okay, well, you're fine, but she's not. It should have been, well, maybe she has to live with me, but I'm going to check in on you every day. Or, I'm going to make sure that we have a date every week or something like that. That was his responsibility as a father to make you feel important and loved as well. Just because her circumstances were different didn't mean that she deserved more attention than you or any of your other siblings. Let's just get that straight. Just because a sibling is going through more, what you deem to be more than the other siblings, does not give anybody the right to differentiate how they treat children, because it is very, very damaging. And regardless of what he believes, that was damaging to your sister as well, because now she doesn't know how to deal with conflict. Now she doesn't know how to be told no. Now, you know, it's affecting her everyday life and her relationship with you, because she's just so petty and used to getting her way, and it really did her an injustice. And now there's nothing you can do about that. You're not her parent. You know, you can't teach your dad how to parent either. I just want to let you guys know that the toxicity is a real fucking thing. And I don't want you guys to like cut off people left and right, but I also don't want you guys to just be staying and dealing with the bullshit either. Now, here's the thing. I feel like some people are like, you know what, cut them off for a little bit and then like, but always go back, because that's your family. And, you know, time isn't promised and life is so short. And they use these, you know, these really well-known sayings to make almost guilt trip you into making things okay with these people just because they're your family. And it's just like, no, like, I'm not going to be disrespected, disregarded, demeaned, and like just being made to feel like shit just because life is too short. Like, you're fucking right. Life is too short. Life is absolutely too short for me to be dealing with your shit and constantly having my trauma be put in my face. Like, that was not nice for him to say. And that just means that he hasn't grown as a person, and he has not realized nor has he empathized with how this has affected you negatively. So I get why you did what you did. And also, now you're living in the same apartment building as your sister, and she don't even want to say shit to you. Like, that has to feel so awful. That means, and that's because she has backup from your dad. Like, let's be real. She has that type of confidence to treat you like that and to, like, you know, dismiss you and shit because of your father. Like, y'all, listen, okay? The way that siblings treat one another, the type of relationship that siblings have, whether it's half siblings or not, that does not matter. What matters is how they're raised. And if they are taught by a parent that certain siblings are more important for whatever motherfucking reason, okay? I don't understand how people try to like logically make this make sense, but like the treatment, okay? I'm not talking about their circumstances. I'm not talking about shit that you can't control, but the treatment of your children should be the same no matter what, because if it's not, somebody, if not all of them, are going to suffer. I think that it would probably be best for you to like try to start over new. Like, it doesn't have to be like in another state or anything like that, but I don't know how you're going to be able to like move on if you're like rubbing shoulders with your sister who's ignoring you for the past 2 years in the hallway of your building. You know what I mean? Like, that has to be awkward. First things first, like, if it were me, I would move and I would go and get my own place that they don't like know where I live, and I get to like move on and start over. I feel like that's the basis. That's the foundation. It's going to be a constant hurt for you, and it's going to be something that you have a harder and harder time from healing from if you're constantly having your trauma put in your face. And I would stick to my guns and love myself more than I fear missing out on their life just because life is too short, when it would mean that I would be miserable. Like, it's just not worth it. I'm telling you right now, it's not worth it. Love yourself. Understand that this had nothing to do with you. I know that it feels like it's directly aimed at you. It's a direct representation of your value and your worth as a person, but it's not. Our parents sometimes, most of the time, don't deal with shit the right way, but it was this right here is what I never ever wanted any of my children to feel, whether it was Julian, whether it was my biological kids. It doesn't matter. They all need to be treated the same. Hey girl, I think I like this guy. He's a family friend. I'm not related to him whatsoever, but I call him cousin. We always play fight and play argue with each other. He always puts on a tough face when we're in front of our parents, meaning he always starts an argument. But when we're together, he's actually really nice and open with me. He's 19 and I'm 15, and I'm not sure if I should push these thoughts out because of my relationship to him, or what should, no, you need to, no, it's just not appropriate right now. He's 19, you're 15, sweet pie. Like, I know it, I get it, but like, it's just, it's different. One's an adult, one's not. And it's not to say that you're a baby. I'm not trying to demean you or degrade you in any way. What I'm saying is that there is a chance for you to be taken advantage of in this particular situation. And I just don't think it's a smart thing for you right now. And also, there is like this family dynamic there, whether or not he's actually blood, it could make things a little bit difficult for you. But if you still feel this way when you're 18, which is 3 years from now, maybe even 2.5, then fine, like, try to pursue it. But like right now, he's 19. He's in a whole different part of his life, girl. He's probably not even in high school yet, and you still are. And then guess what? In 2 years, he's going to be 21, and I just don't want him feeding you alcohol or, you know, getting you into shit that you shouldn't be in just because he's that much older. Like, when it comes to like around this area of life, like, I just feel like this is not a good idea. So I'm going to advise you to leave this shit alone. Like, leave it alone. I know that it's hard, and when you like somebody, you like somebody, but like, it's the age difference for me. And it's not even the age difference, because like when you're older, when like you're grown, it's really not going to be that big of a difference. It's just right now, just because of the time in life that you are, and you guys are in completely different areas. So I don't want him bringing his grown man shit into your teenage life and like making shit harder for you, because that's exactly what would happen, girl. So I would say to wait it out. If you actually like him, wait it out, keep on with this cousin, play nice, and once you hit 18, then revisit this, okay? That's what I would say, girl. Hey, Nikki, I've loved watching you so much and would love some advice with this, because it seems like something you're pretty confident about. I'm gonna try and make this very long story short, because I have a lot of insecurities and anxiety issues from a number of contributors over the years, and as I've been growing up. I've always been such a people pleaser, and it makes me upset when I feel like people don't care about our friendship or are rude or things like that. I've always wanted so badly to fit in wherever I am, and I've especially been struggling with this recently. Good thing is that I've become aware of this problem, and I'm trying really hard to just stay in my lane and not be bothered by other people around me, enjoying their presence when it's there, but not being devastated when it's not. Do you have any advice for helping with this problem? I'd really appreciate any help or thoughts from you. Thank you so much, girl. I got you. Okay, so yeah, girl, this definitely comes with time, and I think it also just comes with experiencing, oh, like, my life still goes on without this person, and like just showing yourself that you got this. You have insecurities and anxiety issues, so yeah, like I think that a lot of us, you know, suffer from insecurities. How could we not? It's just like a normal thing. Anxiety, you know, that's something that a lot of people go through, especially nowadays, where people are actually allowed to talk about their mental illnesses or whatever they're going through emotionally or mentally. And a lot of people are realizing that they have anxiety. So what we have to understand as humans is that we are all very much flawed. So there's just like this trauma response, especially if you've been let down, disappointed, abandoned throughout your life. Then all of a sudden when you grow up, you just feel like you cannot be hurt anymore, and you place these really, really high expectations on whoever it is in your life, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. And it's kind of unfair to the person, because your expectation is stemming from hurt, not from, oh, like, you know, I'm just working towards being better in my life or just making progress. Not like these expectations are directly associated with your trauma in the past. And I think that we have to do a better job as a people when we realize that, hey, so like you said, the good thing is that you become aware of this issue, and you're really you're on the right path, just like enjoying other people's presence and being fine when they're not around, because they're not your end all and be all. None of what I'm telling you guys happens overnight. It's like a constant, like, I'm gonna work on this every day. Like, the people that you meet, they don't immediately know you for your trauma. They don't know your past, your background, your upbringing. They don't know any of those things, and you don't know those things about them. So sometimes when what you deem as very, very hurtful to them, it's something that's not even a big deal. And I've had to learn that with time too, is that not everybody has the intention of hurting my feelings as badly as it may have. And I had to learn, is this something that was genuinely mean-spirited, or is this something that I received and took in that way because I'm hurt? So you're on the right path. Just continue to do this. Continue to try to meet more people. You know, baby steps. Don't flare up your anxiety. But I think you can do this, and I'm really proud of you for actually, you know, like looking at yourself and saying, okay, what's going on? Like, I'm really, really proud of you for that. And if any of you guys are having the same issue, definitely take a look at what's going on with you and listen to yourself and try to make the appropriate changes so that you can live the happiest life that you can. So girl, I hope that this helps, but you're on the right track, and just take people for who they are and just try not to allow these things to penetrate into your spirit, because a lot of times people don't even mean to do that. It's just because we are very hurt. Hey girl, you're my fave. I love you so much. Keep slaying. Oh, thanks girl. So I'm in a relationship with this guy. I have known him for like a year and a half, and we recently started dating like 6 months ago. The thing is, I like him and he claims he likes me, but I'm scared to go too deep with him. He's a good guy, at least on the surface. He is nice to everyone, humble, and he is also eye candy. He treats me well and just the perfect boyfriend. Okay, so hear me out. I'm friends with his ex-girlfriend. Oh shit. Okay. And when we first started dating, she came to me and said, hey, he's a good guy, but just as a friend, be careful. Okay. I'd have been like, okay, explain. She told me he was with her and for a while, and they broke up because he cheated on her with his ex before her. I asked for his side of the story. He said that they were friends with benefits, not in a relationship, or at least for him, that was what it was, and he was not ready at the time for commitment. I believe him, but I believe her too, because she is over him, she's civil with him, and she's in a good place and happily married. So she has no reason to bash him, and she even said that he's a good guy. So she has no reason to lie to me. Also, before we started dating and when we were friends, I was using his phone one time and he got a text from a girl saved as babe with a heart saying, I can't wait to travel the world with you and spend the rest of my life with you. No, he didn't tell me he was in a relationship. And immediately after, we were out for the night training. I'm in the military, by the way, and so is he, and we are stationed overseas. We were chilling during our downtime and we accidentally kissed, and I said sorry. He said, why are you sorry? And I said that the peck was accidental. He then professed his love for me, and I told him about what I found in his phone. And then he came back to me a day later with his phone, told me that I could even check his phone. He's serious about me and he wants to be with me. I didn't feel good about it, but I went with it, and he started telling our friends that he loves me and he's gonna make me his wife. Yes, we are not that young, we're 25, and I'm not really experienced in a relationship because he's my second ever boyfriend. So in this relationship, I do most of the effort. I'm always the one who sacrifices my little to no time. I do all the cute things. If I go out with my friends once in a blue moon, I always bring him gifts and stuff. I clean his room for him, maybe because I'm a clean freak or obsessive. Basically, spend my time with him and for him, and all I get is nothing. He gets more excited to see my roommate, she's a lesbian and she's not interested, than me. He spends free time with his friends, if not playing video games. He says he likes me and even said love, but I don't see it through his actions. I have a gut feeling that says just stop it all. It's not going anywhere. So what should I do? Listen to your gut, girl. Listen to your gut. I know that it's hard because like when they start coming at you and they're like, oh my God, I love you, and like I'm being for real, and like I stopped all of this, and you can even go through my phone and like telling everybody like, oh yeah, that's about to be my wife, da da da. Like, yes, it's gonna hit you in the feels, but that's all for show. If he is not willing to like invest time into you, especially when he's asking you to believe him when it comes to his past, like I just feel like we have an intuition on whether or not a dude is playing with us. And I feel your gut is telling you something for a reason. Good guys cheat too. Like, it's not like, oh, you know, he's a bad guy, so he cheats. No, it's good guys too. It's some of the nicest guys cheat. And I found it telling that when you asked him about his relationship with the girl that was being nice to you and was his ex and was like telling you the tea, and you got his side, that he said that they were just friends with benefits, not in a relationship, or at least for him, that's what he said, and he was not ready at the time for commitment. Well, then that means that was just for him. I bet you money that the other girl was not just sitting there like, oh yeah, I'm good with being friends with benefits. Like, I'm sure she never said that. And maybe they were having the same type of conversation and he's, you know, talking all this sweet bullshit. And then in his mind, he's like, nah, we just messing around. Like, nah, we're just friends with benefits. And that's what I can't stand is like when dudes mess around with girls and then it's so much deeper for the girl, and then like when they meet you, then they downplay it all, and I get so fucking pissed because I'm like, that's a person. Like, stop trying to downplay this relationship that you had with this person just because it didn't work out. Like, be a man about yours and say, yes, I fell in love, yes, I told her I loved her, yes, I lied to her, yes, I did that. Like, stop being like a demeaning asshole and being like, oh well, we were just like friends with benefits. Like, you fucking know that you guys were not no fucking friends with benefits, or at least for me. Like, no, you already know that that's not what she signed up for. Like, otherwise you would not have cheated. You can't cheat on your friends with benefits. So how the hell did that work out? Like, oh no, girl, I'm sensing all types of mess. Y'all are out there together, you know, in the military, and thank you for your service, by the way. But yeah, no, I think that this is like, you cannot, and you barely have any free time as it is, girlfriend. Like, and you were spending all this time being cutesy for him and playing girlfriend with him, and guess what? To him, he might think that y'all are just friends with benefits, and then the next girl he talks to, he's gonna be like, well, for me, you know, like, we weren't really that serious. Like, no ma'am, no ham, no turkey. If you still want to try to give this a chance, then I would say be real, be honest. You know, y'all know I not play. I come right up the street, especially when it comes to boys. Like, I'm not here to be played with. Like, either you're committed or you're not, okay? You can't just be telling my friends and everybody that I know that you're gonna marry me, and then like we don't even hang out. Like, nah, like, you're gonna have to put in some effort, and if you can't do that, like, I'm a peace out. It's all good. No love lost. Like, because time is very short. Girl, you're older now. Like you said, you're 25. Like, you don't have time for the games and the bullshit. You deserve to have a romantic experience, and this just ain't it, girlfriend. So if I were you, I would move the fuck on. Like, that's just me. I would move on, and I would probably cut it out until he's willing to like actually commit and be like, okay, like, you are the person that I'm trying to invest my time, energy, love into getting to know, because that's the only way that a relationship is going to evolve, is if they spend time with you. So that's what I gotta say, girl. I hope it helps. Hey Nikki, help. So here's my issue. My boyfriend's sister is throwing a birthday party for her son next month, who is my soon-to-be godson, but she is inviting an ex-girlfriend of my boyfriend. Oh my God, why? The ex-girlfriend, my boyfriend's sister, and his mom got along very well because my boyfriend and his ex were basically best friends before they dated. Oh God. They dated back in sophomore year of high school, and we are now 23 years old. I know it's been years, but I can't help but be annoyed and be pretty upset and even mad that she and her mom would do that knowing that he is his ex. I wish that like families all together would stop doing this shit, honestly, because it's inappropriate, and it's just weird and awkward for the person that's in his life now. Like, I don't care about this whole family fucking bullshit. Like, is she family? Is she family? Yes? No? Okay then. Like, stop treating her like family. It's very disrespectful. I don't care. She's not family. She's not with him. I don't need like my godson and like my future kids to like know about this weird shit that happened between auntie so-and-so and their daddy. Like, it's very inappropriate. I have a question. Let me ask you this. Is she the only person that's coming? Or is it going to be her and her mom and the other family that they've all been so friendly for all these years? If it's just her, the point is moot, okay? Because like, she is a part of her own family, and I thought that y'all were all family friends. But if it's just her coming, well, then that doesn't make no goddamn sense. Like, y'all knew her and her mama from back then, so how come she's the only one coming? Some people would call it petty and like, oh, you know, this was years ago and da-da-da. But like, I don't know how long they were together. I don't know if they were together for years. They have been friends for years. How long were they intimate? Like, that's a big fucking thing. Like, this person has seen your man's in his most vulnerable, you know, fucking, like, come on. God, I hate that so much. Like, oh yeah, you know, they used to date, but like, we're family friends. Okay, so bring her entire family. If it's gonna be a family thing, then every time I see her, she better be with her pompo, her grandma, her dad, her mom, her sister. It better be every fucking body and not just her, because that is inappropriate and I don't like it. Like, I can't stand when dudes' families fucking do that shit. Like, let it go. Let it go. He did. Why are you fucking holding on to this shit? Like, this is very awkward for me, like, no, I don't like that. I'm not about to be fucking breaking bread with this bitch. Like, I don't, even if he doesn't, y'all know how girls can be. How do I know that she doesn't still have feelings for my mans? How do I know? You guys know how this shit has worked out. Like, oh, this was my childhood friend and like we dated, but like we tried it, didn't work out. Yeah, sure. Until you guys get drunk or some shit, and then like all of a sudden there's mess, and then he's cheating and y'all are having an affair. I'm not about to put up with any of it. No. Oh, here we go. Oh, here's the next part. I did all that shit talking, and there's another part. His sister, his mom, and I have a pretty great relationship, but it's not like I can tell her who to invite to her son's birthday party. Also, if he were to talk to them about it, they would brush him off and basically tell him to mind his business. That's just how they are with him. What should I do before and during the party? I really don't want to get into an argument with my boyfriend of 5 years. I love you, Nikki, and thank you for reading this and giving us amazing videos these past years. Oh, girl, thank you. I love you so much. Okay, well, you have been with this man for 5 years, and it's really not about arguing. It's just like, hey, like, let's be real for a second. If you came to my family and my ex was there, regardless of whether or not there's like family ties there or what the hell ever, how would you feel? Would you be fine? Because a lot of times whenever you present that question like same to dudes, they're like, well, no, like, well, what are you talking about? If the guy says, oh yeah, no, I'd be fine with that, like I completely understand because I have that same situation. Okay, so the next family event that I take you to, I would get like a random friend from high school to just show up at the party and just say that we dated. And just say it and just be like, well, yeah, we just used to date, and make it into not a big deal and see how he fucking likes it. Because I can't. Is he going to all her family functions and baby showers, funerals, weddings and shit? Like, if not, then this is very one-sided and it's very weird. I would not argue with my mans, but I would just present the question, how would you like it? Based on the answer, we'll determine whether or not we're gonna be petty. What should you do before and during the party? If you're gonna go and you can't avoid this situation, here's what I would say. Do not let your guard down around her. Do not like trust her when she tries to act all sweet and nice and so supportive of your relationship, because it's always them. It's always the ones that they tell you aren't a threat that end up being the ones that they cheat with. I'm sorry. Look, okay, I'm just here to spit the truth. These are facts. So don't do that. Don't be getting all close to her. Like, no. We are not the same. We are not the same. Unless her and his sister are like best friends, I'm still not understanding why her presence is there. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I'm sorry. If y'all have a similar situation, y'all are very special because I can't do it. I'm so sorry. Get real cute. Get hella cute. And I mean hella cute. And then when you get to the party, don't be stagnant. Help out with everything. Get there early, help decorate, help serve the food, help with everything, so that way when she comes in, she doesn't really have a place and you're already doing things. You're already like, oh, yeah, no, go ahead and sit down. I'm just gonna place this here. Yeah, it was great seeing you too. Mom, call his mom. And you've been with him for 5 years. Mom, call her mom and like establish your role in the family, because apparently she already has an established role and now you have to establish your place as well. So I would make it known, just like she's making it known, that you're not going anywhere and that you are a part of this actual family. This is going to be your family, especially if you and him get married. And, you know, just make it a big thing like, oh, I can't wait to spoil my nephew. I mean, my godson. I can't wait. Like, oh my gosh. And you're just like, just make it a whole thing, girl. Like, that's what I would do the whole time. Be very much about the family. Find your place and know that that is your safe space, not hers. It doesn't matter. Your place comes first because you're with their son. Period. That is it, you guys. My voice is about to go out. I hope that I answered a lot of your questions. I try to get through as many as I possibly can. Thank y'all so much for entrusting me with y'all's problems and coming to me for advice. I will be having a new Ask Nikki every other week here on my channel. If you guys need more or more frequently, let me know down below. But thank y'all so much for being here and listening to my mediocre advice, girl. I hope it helped. Let me know your thoughts down below, and also give your 2 cents, because y'all know that YouTube did away with the polls, of course. I'd love to see all of us helping each other out. Let's be respectful of one another and all of our situations. But thank you guys so much for being here. I love y'all so much, and I will see your fine ass in my next video. Peace out, y'all.